What if one of the greatest artists of the 20th century lived and died in total obscurity? And what if her entire life's work was found by accident in a cheap, auctioned off storage locker? This isn't a movie plot. This is the true story of Vivian Maier, a mysterious nanny who lived a secret life as a world-class street photographer. Her story is a detective mystery that forces us to question everything we know about art, passion, and the very human need for recognition. For 40 years, Vivian Maier was a ghost hiding in plain sight. By day, she was a nanny for families in New York and Chicago, but by night and in her spare time, her real identity was tethered to a Rolleiflex camera that was always hung around her neck. No one knew her secret. Her job was the perfect camouflage, giving her the freedom to roam the streets on her days off. Over the years, she built a staggering archive of over 150,000 photographs. But here's the twist. She showed them to basically no one. She didn't even develop most of the film. For her, taking the photo was like writing a diary entry and then sealing the page forever. The act of capturing the moment was everything. Seeing it again was never the point. Her secret only came out because she ran out of money. By 2007, elderly Vivian Maier could no longer afford the payments for her storage locker. So the contents, her entire hidden life, was sold off in a blind auction. This is where a man named John Maloff enters the picture. He was a young historian looking for old Chicago photos for a book project. He took a gamble, paying less than $400 for a box packed with negatives. He had no idea what he had just stumbled upon. As he began to scan the images, he realized this wasn't just a box of old snapshots. This was breathtaking, powerful art. It was like buying a dusty trunk at a garage sale, only to find it overflowing with priceless jewels. Maloff became obsessed. He had to know, who was Vivian Maier? He searched her name online. Nothing. For 2 years. She was a ghost. Then, in 2009, he googled her name one more time. And there it was, an obituary. Vivian had died just days earlier. He had discovered a genius, but it was tragically too late to tell her. The art was found, but the artist was still a phantom. Maloff's mission shifted. He was no longer just a collector. He was a detective, and the deeper he dug, the stranger the story got. Vivian was a puzzle of contradictions, fiercely private, and giving conflicting stories about where she came from. The family she worked for knew she took pictures, but they just saw an eccentric nanny. Her camera was her secret weapon. She used a model with a waist-level viewfinder, which acted like a periscope. It allowed her to be discreet, to capture people in their most unguarded moments without ever announcing her presence. But it all came back to the one central question. Why take all these photos only to hide them? Was she terrified of criticism? Or was an audience for her completely beside the point? When Maloff decided to post her work on an online social media platform known as Flickr, the response was explosive. The art world was completely stunned. Out of nowhere, an unknown nanny from Chicago was being spoken of in the same breath as masters like Diane Arbus. Her style is undeniable. She had an incredible eye for the people on the fringes of society, the poor, the elderly, children, capturing raw, unfiltered humanity with a shocking sense of empathy. But the most telling images are her self-portraits. She photographed herself constantly, but never in a straightforward way. She is in a shadow cast on the ground. a fleeting reflection in a shop window. These weren't selfies. This was an artist using the tools of her trade to try and find her own place in the world she so carefully observed. This is where Vivian Maier's story becomes a direct challenge of our modern world. We live in an age of likes, shares, and follows, where creativity is often measured by engagement. Vivian Maier represents a radical alternative. She created for half a century with an audience of zero and no promise of fame. Her motivation was a compulsive, private need to create for her. For her, photography wasn't a career. Think of a chef who loves the process of cooking, finding the ingredients, mastering the technique, far more than serving the meal. Whether anyone ever tastes it is secondary. The thousands of undeveloped film rolls are the ultimate proof. For Vivian, the joy was in the hunt and the quiet, solitary click of the shutter. Since her discovery, Vivian Maier's photographs have been celebrated in major galleries across the globe. The once unknown Nanny is now considered one of America's greatest street photographers. The search for her story even became the subject of the Oscar-nominated documentary Finding Vivian Maier. Her legacy isn't just in her stunning images, but in the profound questions her life forces us to ask. In a world obsessed with being seen, Vivian Maier is a powerful reminder that creativity can be its own reward. She left behind no explanations, only an astounding body of work that speaks for itself. Her life proves that an artist's real work isn't to be seen, but to see. And Vivian Maier saw the world with a clarity and compassion that few have ever matched. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to discover the stories that shaped photography so that you can understand the craft beyond the camera. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.